Inside Hilltopper Athletics is brought to you by Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration. Here's your host, Lynn Alum.
Welcome to the football edition of Inside Hilltopper Athletics. Joined by head coach Roger Waialae. The season's winding down. Have one game left, but let's backtrack as we normally do. Coach, you went to Laidley Field, Charleston, West Virginia, played one of the best teams in the region. Give us your thoughts about the game.
Well, we did some things uncharacteristically offensively that caused us not to be in the game. I mean, we never had a game with 6 drops. And, I thought Rudy did a real good job after he got settled of getting the balls into the right places, but we just didn't make the plays. And then, defensively, it's kind of been the same story when we're able to eliminate the big plays. We played pretty well defensively. And if you look for the most part, we had some tackles for loss on the running backs, which they haven't given up very many tackles for loss. He's able to escape, and he's one of the best running backs, if not in the region, in the country. And so I thought for the most part we're able to contain him at times. And we caused some turnovers. We had a pick 6 and had another interception inside, and so we didn't turn it over. And I thought the key to winning that that game was creating extra possessions offensively, but offensively we didn't take advantage of it. We weren't able to overcome turnovers. I mean, not turnovers, but the turnovers that we got. And so that being said, we got to put it behind it. We got a big game, probably the biggest game of the year for us.
Yeah, it's and we'll get to that in the second segment. But it was an interesting game at Charleston. Kind of traded blows with them there in the first half, and as you said, the defense actually played fine. Probably the biggest thing in the game, if you believe in momentum and stuff, is probably not getting a touchdown out of the first and goal inside the 5.
Yeah, we got it called back for a holding call, and then we were unable to get back in there, and we had to settle for a field goal at that point. But, like I said, we fought. We stayed with them. We just got to make plays. We've been – and, you hate to blame one position, and it's not one position for the game, but it's just that we have taken for granted the plays that our receivers have made that have kept us in games and help us win games. And so, we have to get back to basics and not be, I'd like to say it's the lighting but traditionally we've had problems catching the ball down there. I don't know what it is. I remember Ryan Travis had 5 drops in one game in 2009. So, we were able to, in the second half, to settle down, but we just didn't get it in the end zone.
Yeah, and they're obviously a quality team. Now, do the rankings come out today in football?
It came out Monday.
Where was Charleston?
Charleston was 3rd in the region, so you got undefeated Slippery Rock as 1, number 2 is Tiffin, and number 3 is Charleston. What's going to get Fairmont sitting there at 8th, and they're keeping New Haven in at 10th, and they're probably somebody's going to get knocked out by earned access.
Yeah, that's a shame. Coming off Thursday night, a couple extra days to prepare, obviously, and I don't know if that makes a difference. Thoughts? Is there any advantage to the extra couple days?
I don't think in this situation, and I thought really, having that full week off going into Charleston maybe hurt timing a little bit offensively, but it helped kids heal up. I thought we played fresher. Having this extra days, again, it's going to be the same thing. We should have fresher legs coming in, but, big thing, we got to get back to getting the timing, and having to take yesterday off because of Election Day, that kind of throws a wrench into the sequence of practices. We had to go Sunday and Monday, and then we had to give them Tuesday off. Then we'll come back out today and then go through the rest of the week.
And just for the viewers out there that don't know, a recent NCAA rule, no one can play or practice on Election Day, no team activities of any sort. So it even affected volleyball.
Right.
To move up and play on a Monday instead of the Tuesdays. But yeah, and I don't know if that rule's here to stay or not. It was actually a really, really close vote at the convention.
Yeah, and
pass.
it kind of depends where you're located school-wise, like, meaning where we are here. A lot of the kids that are from far away aren't going to vote, or aren't going to. If they do have to vote, they have to vote absentee ballot or whatever they call it. And then the local kids that are from close around, they have time to go home and vote throughout the day. So it doesn't make sense for us here at West Liberty. I'd imagine it went into effect because it does affect other schools. But, in today's political climate, you don't want to get involved in those arguments.
Yeah, just another rule that whether you support it or don't support it, it's the rule. Nevertheless, just following up on the game down there, I ask this question every week. Any player, any position unsung that made a difference in the game?
Well, he's not unsung, but I thought defensively Cam Rice had one of his best games against one of the best running attacks. He was able to get, I think, 3.5 tackles for loss, a sack. They had him credited for an interception, but it was actually Horsley that got the interception. So the unsung, again, you go back to it. I think our freshman center has gotten better every game, and he was covered. They're an odd stack, and I thought he did a decent job of making the line calls and, doing his job on what he's supposed to do.
It's not easy playing at Charleston, especially when you're playing what is now the third-ranked team in the region, but you were in the game. It's just been one of those seasons that you look at our league.
Right.
And the parity, like Glenville went to Frostburg and got a win.
Yeah.
Correct? So you just never know. That the difference in these games is who maybe doesn't have the untimely turnover.
And that's what happened. And a lot of it comes down. I thought our quarterback played well enough to win, but you look at the Frostburg-Glenville game, the Frostburg quarterbacks threw 4 picks. The first one was struggling. They pulled him. He's a 3-year starter. And they yanked him trying to get some momentum. The next guy came in, threw 2 more picks. And so, Glenville was able to turn them over, grant the extra possessions, and, won 13-10, and it was a defensive struggle. I thought the most curious game to me was the Concord Notre Dame game up at Notre Dame. I mean, that was 24-14, but it was 14-7 for the longest time. And then in the beginning of the fourth quarter, Notre Dame took a 16-14 lead. And so, but it's your college athletics.
Yeah. Well, and we're seeing it, I think, also even at the Division I level. Although there may not have been as many upsets, but you take a team like Georgia that's loaded.
Right.
And every week they're in games fighting.
Right, and they're going to get everybody's best because they're the king of the throne and everybody wants to knock them down. But, there's parity amongst the top, I guess, teams in all divisions, I think. And, what you're going to see separating is the teams that are at the top of the food chain are only going to get richer because of the NIL money.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Well, that wraps up our first segment of Inside Hilltopper Athletics. We'll be back shortly and talk about this week's opponent.
Disasters happen. Pick the team that takes care of them all. Powered by offices in Wheeling, Morgantown, and Pittsburgh, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration is ready to handle any size emergency at a moment's notice. We have the right people, knowledge, and equipment to respond 24 hours a day.
I'm Roger Waialae. When disaster strikes your home or business, tell your insurance provider you prefer the restoration company the Hilltoppers call, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
Inside Hilltopper Athletics is brought to you by Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration. Here's your host, Lynn Coach.
Welcome back to Inside Hilltopper Athletics. I'm joined by head football coach Roger Waialae as we prepare to wrap up another season, which means we just get older, Coach. But these seasons go by so quickly. It just seems like yesterday we're kicking off to start the season, but here we are in week 11, our 10th game because we had
Right.
the bye week, but we welcome Wheeling University to the campus, and what in its short time has become a very heated and intense rivalry.
Right. And, like I explained to the kids before, we were, every few years our rivalries would change before they started football. Meaning, for a long time when I first got here, it was Fairmont, and all of a sudden it turned right to Shepherd. And then when they started football and went right to them, and that it's been, obviously it's a different feeling than when you were playing against Fairmont and Shepherd, and that was your rivalry. Right now, the schools are so close in proximity. You cross the paths on the recruiting trail. A lot of the kids have played together. They know each other. So it is a true rivalry that you experienced in basketball for many of those years. And, you could tell the difference in the atmosphere at those games versus the other games. But, the same sense, I'm happy for our kids. We finally got a true rivalry.
Right, and I think it's been great for both institutions as well. And we mentioned the basketball rivalries, and even in volleyball now it's a significant rivalry, and I'm sure in other sports. But in basketball, which is going to be one of the biggest crowds every year, and in football it's going to be a nice crowd here if the weather cooperates. It's more when you have a rivalry that it's this close, the casual fan comes out,
right,
that may or may not come out at any other time.
Yeah, and you'll get people up here that you never, they'll come up to the campus and live in Wheeling, come up to the campus for the first time in 10, 15 years. So it is unique. I'm glad we have it. I grew up on the West Coast watching the UCLA-USC rivalry every week, and they tried to make it that Notre Dame was SC's right. There's nothing like the UCLA-USC game. And then there's millions that you could talk about throughout the country.
Have you looked at the weather report? I know it's supposed to be a little chilly, probably 50.
Yeah, well, the highs are in the 50s, but they're not calling for any rain.
Well,
and like I said, I think football nowadays, because of the turf, the weather impact on the game is mostly wind. So that's the big key, is what's the wind going to be doing on that day.
Well, it's amazing where you're located and the difference in climate is. We're taping today on Wednesday instead of Tuesday because I went down to Florence, Alabama to watch two of my former players coach and coach women's basketball. And I was telling Coach Waialae it was 80 degrees there yesterday and sun, and they have a lion in the middle of their campus.
Oh, yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. We went there when Zach Amidro for the Harlan Hill. We went 2 years in a row, and we went down there and watched them feed the lions. I mean, it's amazing how close it is to the president's house, and they roar. I was like, how do you sleep as the president with them lions?
And even getting back to the climate, you can look behind us now where there's not many leaves left on these trees, but just coming back through Cincinnati yesterday, the trees are full. The leaves have not fallen in Cincinnati, and that's a little over 3 hours from here, but hopefully the weather will cooperate. Keys to winning a season finale.
Well, again, if you look at them, they are very balanced offensively. They throw the ball well. They run the ball well. So, again, our Achilles heel defensively has been the big play. Let's make them drive the field. Offensively, taking care of the football and just making the plays that we can. Just make the normal plays. It's not even the big plays. It's moving the sticks. I mean, the other night was our worst. We had been leading the conference and ranked nationally on third down conversion, and we went 2 for 16, which is uncharacteristic of us, and we had opportunities to move the chains. So, we need to monopolize the ball a little bit offensively to keep our defense off the field and keep them rested.
Let's switch gears here for just this last segment. Let me pick your brain as you're the football guy. What is the next trend in college football? And I'll tell you why I asked that question. I was talking to men's basketball coach Ben Hallett today, and he's a big WVU fan, and we were talking about their last couple weeks and how well they've played. And they're kind of playing against the norm now. They're back to the so-called smash mouth type of game and just running the football like crazy. Do you ever see it flipping a little bit back to the running game just as teams try to do something different?
Well, I think football-wise, everything has always come full circle. You know, there was a long time where option football was the greatest thing on earth. You know, and then they got away from option football for a while, and then it came back in the RPO. It's the same blocking scheme, same principles. Instead of pitching the ball, you're throwing the ball into gaps. But, you know, defensively, I mean, as an offensive trend, when you get back under center and you play smash mouth football, then you put the defense in different situations, meaning they can't apex your receivers, meaning play in between them. And so they're either going to have to cover them up. I mean, one of the best balls Rudy called for, we were under center, and he three-stepped and threw it right on time, and the ball got on the receiver so fast he can get the ball out a lot faster. So that's probably one of the trends that you're going to see, and we see it in our conference. There's more people that are playing plays under center where, you know, for 8-9 years, Fairmont never went under center. One of their things that they're doing that's giving them advantage offensively is they're going under center probably 30-40% of the time in the game, and it really changed what the defense has to do. So I think you'll see more teams going back under center, and you've seen it a few places that have traditionally done it. But, you know, the smash mouth football, what you're doing, you're playing ultra conservative. You're taking the pressure off of your quarterback to make plays. Now he's a manager of the game, and all he has to do is make good decisions in the pass game, and you're going to be into every game. And I think that's what they've done a good job down there, is eliminating some of the options but giving them more options in different places.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good analysis there. And it's funny how games change. The sport evolves, but sometimes it'll just go back to where it started. But not to bring wrestling into the occasion, but we had a big-time wrestling match against Pitt Johnstown last Thursday, the same night you're playing Charleston, and there's significant rule changes in wrestling that's completely changed the sport.
Right.
Takedowns are 3 points.
Well, and you'll see that in every sport. Every time a rule changes, then schematically or philosophy-wise, things are going to change. And one of the biggest arguments throughout college football is the legal man downfield, because the college rules are very lax compared to the NFL rules, meaning in college you can be 3 yards downfield or 5 yards downfield if you're in contact with a defensive player, and then 3 yards downfield if you're not in contact. And so that's promoted the RPO game more than anything else, because now the defenses, the safeties, they got to look for different keys to read, and most of them are, you know, run fitting, they're reading the running backs. And so then it's dictated coverage. That's why you've seen so much cover one, because you want to take stress off of somebody that's supposed to, okay, I got to fit this gap in the run game, but I got to get in this zone in the pass game. So they're trying to eliminate all those things. And, you know, there's more offensive head coaches in the NCAA, else that rule probably would have been changed by a long time ago. And the biggest probably proponent of it is Nick Saban. He wants that changed.
Yeah, he's turned it around. You know, when you're Nick Saban, if you lose one game, the world's coming to an end.
Oh, yeah.
They found their stride, and it's going to be interesting football at all levels. But, Coach, it's been great doing those shows. Wish you the best of luck. Arch rival Wheeling University here one Saturday. For Hilltopper fans, huge day here on campus. Not only do we have football against Wheeling University, men and women's basketball both play in the ASRC that evening as well. So tune in. This wraps up our last week of Inside Hilltopper Athletics with Coach Roger Waialae.
Disasters happen. Pick the team that takes care of them all. Powered by offices in Wheeling, Morgantown, and Pittsburgh, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration is ready to handle any size emergency at a moment's notice. We have the right people, knowledge, and equipment to respond 24 hours a day.
I'm Roger Waialae. When disaster strikes your home or business, tell your insurance provider you prefer the restoration company the Hilltoppers call, Panhandle Cleaning and Restoration.
I am completing my postmaster's educational leadership certification, and what I like about it was that I could complete it completely online. My classes each week are very structured, so I don't fall behind, yet it is flexible because I can kind of work on my own pace and I can adapt to my schedule. Even though it is online, it's set up so that you can develop personal relationships with your classmates and with the faculty.
I feel that West Liberty is preparing me to be a future leader. One of the requirements in the program is to work closely with a supervisor, and this provides the opportunity for an authentic experience.
I think school leadership development is very important for future leaders so they can get a taste of what they're going to be doing every day and help prepare them for the future.
I feel that this has been one of the most valuable professional developments that I've ever had. I've learned a lot about not only leadership, but about myself. And I feel that it has made me a better teacher.
The collaborative work that I do with Kayla is definitely very valuable. She's been a great help to us here at the school.
Recently, we have been working on scheduling for next year. We have been working on getting the students who require special education services in the right classes, if they need small group instruction or collaborative instruction. We have also worked on school discipline. I recently completed a root cause analysis on discipline referrals and suspensions, and I'm planning on using that for my final capstone project. One of my goals after completion is to someday become an administrator because I want to have an impact on improving organizational outcomes to not only better the school system but the community as well. I hope to someday foster an environment that emphasizes teamwork, innovative thinking, and equal participation to achieve objectives.
I guess if I was saying what my overall goal was, is just to be the best leader that I can be, and I want to inspire and empower others. I want to build collaborative and culturally responsive relationships within my building and throughout the county.
My name is Hannah Salonica. I am a senior in the psychology program here at West Liberty University, and I'm going to take you on my day. So first today we're going to go into biological psych with Dr. Fletcher.
We are going to be doing our Play-Doh activity with the eye. So we're going to create an eye out of Play-Doh, and assignment part 1 will be due the end of the day today.
The psychology program here at West Liberty University is really amazing. The courses are set up really in a way that you build a strong foundation before you move on to some upper level classes. Some of those can be like biological psych and clinical psychology. So we really do work on getting those transferable skills before we move on to the more like harder classes. So psychology is really a flexible and applicable major that we can use to do so many different things. You don't even have to stay in the field of psychology. I know a lot of people can use these skills to transfer over into different social work careers, even things like criminal justice. And going to grad school really just opens up those opportunities. For me, I really want to go into school psych, but a lot of people in my cohort like the clinical psychology route, where you really focus on assessments and the therapy setting. And our school here at West Liberty has a grad program where you get your master's in clinical psychology, and when you graduate you get to actually work as a licensed doctoral level psychologist in the state of West Virginia. So today we're heading back into biopsych, where we're actually going to be dissecting cow eyes today.
Part 2, we're going to walk through most of the questions in class, but then you will still turn in the document online. The nice thing about the cow eye is it's really big, so it's a lot easier to see these different structures.
Biopsychology is a very fun and challenging class. It's super interesting, and we're learning a lot about different anatomy, not only with the cow eye but also with the brain. And we did do a Play-Doh dissection before we moved on to an actual cow eye dissection, so we were able to use those skills on the Play-Doh and then transfer them over to the actual anatomy dissection. And this really connects because there's a lot of malfunctions and different disorders, not only with the eye but also with the brain. So being able to identify those specific parts, we're able to use that to then learn about the different disorders that are affected in those areas. So when you're a senior, you go through a practicum experience, which is a internship of about 100 hours, as well as some classwork that adds up to like 35 hours. I decided to do my internship at the School of Bright Promise, where I get to work with a BCBA, which is a board certified behavioral analyst, and I'm on her behavior management team, where we work on responding to different crisis behaviors with the children. But it really is awesome because I get to work with kids. This is something that I want to do with my school psych masters that I want to get, and it also helps just really prep for the future and get hands-on experience of applying these psychological principles we're learning in class and applying them into the real world. So today we're heading to Canine Cognition with Nessie.
Timing has to do with the conditioned stimulus being presented, and it needs to happen before or at the point that the behavior is occurring.
So one of our special topics class is the Canine Cognition one. This is actually a new class we just added that students can take for a psych elective, and we really go into a lot of the biological functions of a dog from their birth up until their adult life, and we're also learning different skills like training skills as well as some first aid that we can actually use on our own dogs. So it's a really fun class. So we're heading into the psychology lounge to do a quick meeting. So the psychology club here is really a place that you and your cohort and other cohorts can kind of come together, and we do different things like study groups. We do some fundraisers like our chocolate rats in the fall, and we also have different trips that we take, like going to the trans lunatic asylum. We did that this year. That was really awesome. And then also we were planning on going to the psychology museum in Akron. Thanks for checking out the program with me. For more information, visit our website.
Hi, my name is Craig Bober. I'm a senior finance major at West Liberty University, and today I'm going to be showing you what it's like to be a part of this program. Heading to my first class of the day, investment portfolio analysis with Professor Jesse.
We're going to start off doing some current events, and then we're going to look at evaluating some stocks, figuring out the intrinsic value. We're going to do Knight, Tyson, Disney, and waste management. We need to make some investments with the investment club.
The finance program at West Liberty is an exceptional experience. In the program, there are amazing teachers that always make class fun and engaging. A new student enrolling in the program should expect a personable learning experience when you're engaging in classroom activities and building relationships with your teachers and classmates. I chose the major in finance because of my interest in the finance world and my want to pursue a career in business. My goals after graduating are to become a certified financial planner and help people achieve their retirement and savings goals. We're heading to my second class of the day, Management Capstone with Dr. Rakia.
So part of what we've been doing over the last several weeks was looking at the internal and external factors of the companies that you had chosen to research.
This major is good for others to consider because of the quality of education you receive and the relationships you build with the people in the business department. Professionally, with a finance degree, you have many different career options like banking, insurance, financial planning, or even tax services. I chose West Liberty University because I did not want to go far from home, but I still wanted to be away. Personally, what I like most about West Liberty is the great people that live here. West Liberty Business program attracts many people from different countries, so this provides you with a unique and diverse learning environment being here. We're going to be heading into the investment club meeting.
So as we talked about, here's our current portfolio allocation. So we still have about $5,000 left, so we need to make some investments.
The Investment Club is a student-ran club that is sponsored by WestBanco, where we use real money to buy stocks and bonds to build a class portfolio. This club is a great place to learn about the stock market and how investing works. All the decisions that we make regarding our portfolio are voted on by all the members of the club. And now for my last class of the day, my finance capstone with Professor Jesse. West Liberty's Finance Capstone is unique because it is a CFP board registered program, which is something that not all colleges offer. In this course, we learn about topics like ethics, retirement planning, tax planning, and risk management, which prepares us for the CFP exam. And now we're going to cap off the day with playing some basketball with my friends. Being a student athlete, there are many challenges that come with it, but the rewards far outweigh them. Through my 4 years of playing football here, I learned many valuable life skills and have built friendships that will last a lifetime. Thanks for coming along with me today, and for more information, just visit our website.